For the late 20th century and the first decade of the 21st, IT security was focused on an audit-based approach, using either the US Federal Guidance on Security and Privacy, as detailed in NIST Special Publication 853, or on the more European-centric international standard ISO 27000. By 2010, businesses had started to adopt a more attack-focused approach. Penetration testers were used during systems testing to check that systems were resistant to attack, and attack-style covert penetration testing exercises were carried out to check the overall infrastructure. The publication in 2013 of the NIST Cybersecurity Framework formalized the attack-oriented approach to security of technology. While not discarding their audit-focused controls, many organizations have evolved their security programs to align their operational security with the NIST CSF. The ongoing disclosure of weaknesses in applications and operating systems force vendors to put more emphasis on security in their products. In particular, the Windows operating system has introduced not only security fixes for existing code, but also new security features. Windows Defender has evolved from a basic and optional antivirus feature into a powerful and default anti-malware solution. At the same time, the level of media interest in cyber attacks has made cybersecurity a real issue for organizations, and it's one that now gets significant board-level focus. Few are the enterprises these days that don't include cybersecurity as part of their risk and audit subcommittee reports. There's been incremental improvements in security over the last decade or so, but cyber attacks haven't stopped and have just got a lot more sophisticated. As a result, governments in particular have been active in identifying better ways to secure their own systems. The US government in particular takes the lead in identifying emerging trends in cybersecurity which should be adopted for federal systems. It's useful to look at the latest US executive order on improving the nation's cybersecurity, issued by the White House in 2021, to understand the key emerging trends. The executive order includes a number of improvements to federal processes to improve the way the US government engages private industry, particularly in areas of information sharing and cyber attack monitoring and reporting. However, it also introduces the need to adopt new technology architectures and systems. Let's take a quick look at these new approaches. The first of the new technologies that must be adopted in federal systems is what's known as zero trust technology. This is an approach originally developed as a tactical response by Google after it was hacked in 2010, and has subsequently evolved into a mature paradigm. It involves taking an approach which assumes that attackers may be inside the network, rather than taking a fortress mentality, which assumes everyone inside the network is a staff member. It's got 4 key tenets. Just-in-time access, where the validation of authentication of a user is done immediately prior to granting access, rather than assuming an earlier authentication is still valid. This may be automated, or it may require re-signing. Just enough access, providing only the level of access needed for the specific task being carried out. This minimizes the risk should an attacker gain access. Tokenization or encryption, ensuring as much as possible that private information is encrypted and identification is protected by using codes or tokens instead of names, and this will minimize the risk to privacy in the event of a data breach. And adaptive policies. This is a new technology that allows access control policies to be adjusted on the fly by taking into account threat intelligence and the state of the network, so that more checks can be done when the threat level is higher. The executive order directs agencies to accelerate their move away from in-house technologies to secure cloud services, in order to take advantage of the more rigorous security applied at scale by cloud service providers. With this direction, agencies also have to adopt the Cloud Security Technical Reference Architecture. As part of the move to cloud, agencies also have to adopt what is known as a DevSecOps strategy, which builds security into the delivery process and throughout operations. It's no longer acceptable to bolt on security after the event. Most people accept the need for good security controls, Passwords have for a long time been an ineffective way of securing access, and more rigorous controls such as multi-factor authentication, which have existed in areas such as online banking for some time, are becoming the norm for access to business systems. Many data breaches would have been avoided by this one control. Early banking multi-factor solutions generally involved a physical device, which displayed a sequence of changing numbers and was synchronized with the service to be accessed. This has evolved into a mobile application which does much the same thing, but can hold many different service accounts. Microsoft's Authenticator is one of the more popular apps. Another important technology trend that agencies have to adopt is software composition analysis. All software is built using some level of existing components, and these need to be identified. They may be standard system libraries provided by the vendor as part of the software, or third-party components from open source or other vendors. Software composition analysis ensures that components are identified and, where relevant, the subcomponents that make up those components are identified, so that not only application-level vulnerabilities can be tracked, but that component vulnerabilities can also be tracked as part of the risk assessment. An example of a component vulnerability is the OpenSSL library, which was used in many software products for setting up a secure web connection. This library was found in 2014 to have a vulnerability which became known as Heartbleed, and enabled an attacker to access the victim's encryption keys. Since then, OpenSSL has continued to have more high-severity issues published. With the increasing globalization of software, components may also come from sources outside of the country where the software originates. Where the source of a component is in a country that's a potential adversary, then the software component presents a supply chain risk. An important artifact for procurement is the software bill of materials, which documents the software composition of the product. There are many longer-term technologies emerging, such as quantum computing, which have the potential to significantly change our approach to cybersecurity. As a result, cybersecurity has to be as agile as cyber attacks have proven to be.